Thank you.
So I thank
Hello.
you all. Excuse me.
I just said hello to Anne Wright because I know her. Ciao.
Hello to everyone. Thank
Hello
you.
to everybody. Yes. So let's do very quick check-ins. Name, country, organization you work with. I think that would be sufficient. And I will go as I see names across my screen. Karen, and be sure to unmute yourself. Karen, would you like to introduce yourself? Thank you.
Karin Utas Karlsson, Sweden, Women for Peace.
Leah.
Yes, I'm Leah Launokari from Finland and Women for Peace.
And Alessandra. You need to unmute, Alessandra. Alessandra, unmute. Thank you.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
I am Alessandra. I am from Italy. I'm part of a feminist network and association for Palestine.
Patricia, unmute. Yeah, thanks.
Yes. I'm from Italy. I'm a president of WILF Italy.
And Liz.
Hi, everybody. Liz Remesval. I'm in New Zealand, Aotearoa, and I'm with World Beyond War.
Hello, Maria.
Hello, my name is Maria Cernat. I am from Romania, and I co-host a podcast on the barricades. And I'm also the president of an NGO here in Romania.
Thank you for joining. Tina.
I'm Tina Sandberg from Finland. I'm from the Communist Party of Finland and also a member of the board of the European Left Party, and also organizing a small group of activists in Finland called Stop NATO.
Thank you. Anne.
Anne Wright from the United States, from Hawaii. And I work with a lot of groups, Code Pink Women for Peace, Veterans for Peace, with the International Peace Bureau, No to NATO. Thank you.
Skevi.
Hello, I'm Skevi Kukuma from Cyprus. I am Secretary General of the Women's Federation, POGO, and I am also one of the Vice Presidents for the Women's International Democratic Federation.
Thank you. Ada.
Yes, I am Ada Donno from Italy. I'm president of AWMR, Association of Women of the Mediterranean region, which is affiliated to the WIDF, the Women's International Democratic Federation. Thank you.
Thank you. Emmeline.
Hi, I'm Emmeline from Vredewitwe. We are in Belgium peace movement. And we are also part of No to NATO, No to War.
Enrica.
Hi, I'm from Italy. I am the treasurer of WILF, Women International Association for League and Freedom. And I think you know WILF.
Yes. Marie.
Hi, everybody. I'm Marie Botti. I'm based in Montreal, Canada, and I'm with International Women's Alliance. I'm the vice chair of International Women's Alliance. And also we have a local group here called Women of Diverse Origins, which is made up of community groups from different cultural communities in Montreal and the rest of Quebec. And the question of peace is also one of our concerns. As IWA, International Women's Alliance, we are also connected to organizations such as the International People's Front that and also resist US-led war and militarism, which has an anti-NATO program as well. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you. Lisa.
Hi, I'm also from Italy. We seem to be over-representing this country of ours, but that's great. It's unusual in an international meeting. I'm from Blessed Are the Peacemakers, but part of the Italian Peace and Disarmament Network and the European-wide coalition called Europe for Peace.
Wonderful.
I'm the former co-president of the International Peace Bureau until a few months ago.
Thank you. Stephanie.
Hello, I am Stephanie. I work for Agir pour la Paix, which is a part of the peace movement in Belgium. And so we are based in Brussels. Happy to see you.
Enrica, excuse me, Pinar. You're unmute, Pinar. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Here it's almost 9 p.m. So nice to meet you all. Here I am based in Istanbul. I am from Nuclear.org. I work as volunteer and Nuclear.org coordinator. And I am from also Greens of Turkey. We are very much in relation with the European Greens. And also I'm writing as a journalist, and my field is sociology, actually, in academics. And yes, and here there's a NATO base, as you know. It's in Incirlik, NATO base, and in the previous, I mean, historically, there has been some activist movements here against NATO. So I'm happy to meet you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Ula, hello.
Hello. First of all, I have to apologize. I thought it was 21 hours in Finland. So, but I'm from Women for Peace in Finland and have been active in the peace movement for too many years, but still going on. And I'm so happy to see you all. This is the best day in my life. It's absolutely great. And if we can do something in July, I would be really, really, really happy. And as you understand, we haven't invited all the women we have on our lists because we wanted to touch the feeling first. Can we go on? How do we go on? And then we can take all the other women on board. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ula. And Laura? Hello, Laura, are you there? Can you unmute, please?
Yes, I'm here.
Laura, oh, good. Hello.
Hello.
Please introduce yourself and tell us where you live and your organizations you work with.
I live in Florence, Italy, and I'm from WILF, the Organization of Women for Peace. Patrizia Serpetti gave me the letter. So
excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And Medea, I see you there now.
Yes, Medea with Code Pink, and I'm in Washington, D.C.
Thank you. And George, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure thing. Good afternoon, all. I'm George Friday. I'm in the U.S. South. I am staff for United for Peace and Justice, North Carolina Peace Action, and I'm on the board of Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. Thanks, Nancy.
And thank you, George. I thank George for her help, and I thank Ula for sending out so many emails and inviting you all to join, as well as many others who will join later, I expect. I'm Nancy Price. I live in California, USA. I'm I co-chair the Earth Democracy Committee for WILF US. I'm co-chair of the Alliance for Democracy, and I am co-director of the Military Poisons Project of WILF US. Thank you all. George, if you'd post the chat, please. We're coming together to begin to discuss how we might develop a project for the NATO event, either July 11 to 12, and it's taking place in Vilnius. The question is there any possibility for an event in Vilnius? Possible events in Brussels, an outside march rally with speakers, an inside panel or webinar with speakers, and maybe a webinar with speakers representing different regions and groups, as you all are today joining this call. We might also create a list of other groups that are organizing events to perhaps collaborate with them and create some sort of common website maybe. So that's the agenda in an hour. So I would like to recognize all of you who'd like to participate in discussion. And since this is recorded, we will then have a good record of this preliminary group discussion. So thank you very much. And let's start out.
My apologies before we start with folks on the stack. We're a decent sized group. So when you're on stack, if you have a comment or a question or a recommendation, try to keep it to 3 minutes. 3 minutes, okay? And after you've gone 2 minutes, I'll put up my finger like this so that you know you've got 1 minute left. And I will lovingly and respectfully mute you after 3 whole minutes have passed. So I will start when you recognize someone on the stack, and I'll do this, Nancy, if you're okay with it.
Sure, that's fine. I appreciate your help.
So on this first topic of, can we do something in July? Does anybody have a comment or a way to start us off? Yes, Ula. You must be muted, Ula. I don't hear you. Yes, you're muted.
Yes, I'm unmuted now. Well, we have considered this also with IPB, the International Peace Bureau, because they wanted also to arrange something for the NATO summit, but it seems that it's going to be more the peace wave, which also was last year. So they are not actually planning an event, as I know at this moment. And when we started then to think about this kind of women's thing, that would be a bit different than the one in Madrid, where it was open for everybody, and it's not closed for men, of course, would be if we arrange it. But Vilnius, we have a problem because there is no actual peace movement, and it's even very hard to get on the streets in Vilnius to oppose NATO, because they are absolutely NATO fanatics out of many reasons, as the Baltic states in such. And that was when we were thinking of having it in Brussels, because the NATO headquarters are in Brussels. We could also reach the EU Commission maybe, and also the EU Parliament. We could maybe even reach some EU parliamentarians with the questions, for instance, of US, NATO nuclear weapons in Europe as a theme, and depleted uranium weapons, which UK now are sending to Ukraine. Those themes could be brought into the European Parliament. But that's, of course, a question which is open to you also, what you prefer. And of course, we must somehow get the acceptance from the Belgian peace movements that they accept us to come there and can help us a bit with the practical things. And Tiina Sandberg, who is also here from Finland, has as a trade unionist, contacts to trade unions in Belgium, and that would help a bit if we could get premises, for instance, more or less for free, or at least for a very, very small amount of money, because we actually have no budget. This is just a crazy idea, which we thought we could bring forward to some devoted women all around Europe and the world. And I want to apologize for Maria Nohongo Erskog from South Africa. She was very active in Madrid at the summit, at the counter summit, we can call it there. She is in China, I think, at the moment, but she says she's fully in with her Global South groups. And this is, of course, something we have to consider. How many of us could be physically in Brussels, and how many could be brought in by webinars from distant countries where the money is not there maybe to travel, but that we don't know at this stage yet. So I do hope that you will comment. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ula.
And I see that one, George, I see one person, Via Zalka, has joined us. Vera, would you just like to quickly introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm sorry for being late. Greetings to everybody. I'm from Hungary, and I'm work with the Attack Hungary, and also the Central European part of the European Social Forum, which is called Prague Spring 2 Movement. So these are the two territories where I work, and I'm connected with ULA and also with the NATO organization in Germany. So these are my activities. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nancy, for recognizing that.
Mm-hmm.
I have, and my apologies if I mispronounce your name, but I have Skivai and then Tina. Skevi.
Skevi, yes. Skevi.
And then Tina.
I am Skevi from Cyprus, as I said before. I see also the difficulties to organize something in any initiative in Vilnius. Although there is a group of, I think it's a group that is for peace, but I think they will not be able to support or stand at the front of this initiative in Vilnius. It would be very difficult. I also think of Brussels, that maybe it's better since headquarters are there as well, where we can do many initiatives there. My organization, we are organizing a bicommunal group next Monday to Brussels, Greek Cypriot women and Turkish Cypriot women. We will be in Brussels, and we will have a discussion about a transformative vision of gender mainstreaming in peace and security. In general, is the 1325 resolution and the participation of women. You know, in Cyprus, we are in supposed to be a process on negotiations. We will have meetings with the group of the left in the European Parliament, and I can tell them or send a message, inform them about our initiative and whether there is a possibility to support our work. As far as I remember, there are women from Belgium as well, organizations where we can cooperate and have the support as well of the group of the left. It would be very helpful if we manage to have this. So in Brussels, maybe there is a chance for us, the Cyprus, to participate there personally, in person. Sorry for my English.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sorry that you have to use your English. We have Tina and then Lisa. It feels like Brussels might be a recommendation. We want to pivot from this in about 5 or 6 minutes to start thinking about what the plan looks like. So Tina and then Lisa.
I agree also that Vilnius is not an option, should be in Brussels. And I have been, I sent a message to the peace working group of the European left. They have been discussing very shortly without many details about this, and they were positive. Of course, they are waiting for more information because it was just like it, that maybe we could organize something together. And also the women, I think, of the European left would be possible, one of the organizers, and that means that there could be a small budget for this. So at least we could have a place for a meeting quite easily. And if we will be only speaking English, then there will be no costs for translations and things like that. So I think that it wouldn't be so expensive and it would be possible to organize. And of course, I will send messages to our working groups in European left as soon as we have some kind of plan, so we can have more contacts and more support through that also. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lisa, and then Emilian.
I was going to suggest also that we could be hosted by the ETUC, which is the European Trade Unions Confederation, the general secretary of which is a woman right now. She's French. And I have a feeling that they are always pretty open to hosting meetings of this kind in Brussels, naturally. Sorry.
Thanks so much for that, Lisa. That's encouraging. Emilian, and then we're going to shift to what's the plan?
Yeah, we also discussed it a little bit in the team, but of course we need to have first a plan, but we think it's possible to do it in Brussels. For us we think we have many peace organizations in Belgium who would be willing to help us to organize a real event. I'm just questioning, I'm not sure that it is already clear that there will not be a counter summit of like we have previous counter summits. So I think we should take in account if there will be a big counter summit, if we are planning to be a part of it, or like a side event of it, or how do we see that?
Okay, I know Nancy and Anne were on set, but Ula, you may have a direct response to Emilian's what she brought up. You're muted.
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't know of any counter summit because we discussed it with IPB, and the only one that could maybe be involved in it would be IPB, because NATO now, due to and it's really sad that Christine Karch, who was a very strong factor in the Madrid conference, is very ill. So I think this time we have to do it now with this group. And I think we should call it the Counter Summit, because if it's the same dates, but it's a women's Counter Summit, it would be a women's Counter Summit. If not anybody has any other news about the Counter Summit, but I haven't. Thank you.
Okay. And we just have to make sure you're loud enough that they can hear you in Vilnius.
Yes.
Nancy and then Anne.
I wanted to ask if we might want to involve some contingent from climate activists, because they're beginning to frame the climate catastrophe in terms of militarism and ecocide. So that might be something to add to this discussion. And let's see, well, I'll turn it over to Anne then.
Well, I agree with everyone that Brussels is the best place, even though I think all of us would like to go to Vilnius, but it's just not going to work. Having been to many of the NATO counter summits and one in Brussels several years ago. We definitely will need to call upon.
Anne, we've
We can't
lost
hear
you.
you.
Anne, we've
Madam.
lost you.
You'll be back.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think we would to make sure everybody understands that it's open to everyone, because we'll need volume. And from the United States, I'm not too sure we'll get a lot of people to come over for that. For example, at the NATO conference in Madrid this last summer, we only had about maybe six people that came all the way from the United States for it. And the same would be true probably for the Pacific and Asia, that we shouldn't count on a lot of people coming, but that does underscore the need to make sure that we have a good webinar Zoom for the rest of the world. Thank you.
Thanks, Anne. I see you, Ula, but I'm hoping that your comments fit into the next section of our work in my effort to keep us on track. I think we can skip down to number 5 and try to identify what are the possible things that can happen in Brussels, who would help make those happen, and what needs to happen today, and then a timeline out from here. So trying to start planning a little bit backwards. So if there's going to be an effective counter protest in Brussels that gets enough attention to shut up the so-and-sos in Vilnius, what needs to happen? What are all the things that need to happen? Here are some possibilities, but there are probably more. And we got stack open starting with Ula. Uh-oh, Ula tried to step away. Sorry, Ula, I wasn't trying to.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. First of all, I would like to ask: is anybody taking notes?
This is being recorded, Ula.
Okay, so we get it from there. Good.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. The volume which Anne was mentioning, I think we have to make it up in some other way. I mean, if we could have women from Europe at least being there, the other ones could be on the webinar. I think maybe some could be physically there. We have to check. We have to really check with Africa, for instance, and the Indo-Pacific, what happens there. But I also think that we could maybe prepare it in our own countries by having some kind of women's initiatives, which we could collect signatures for, either personally or organizations, that we would bring to the NATO headquarters and to the European Commission and the European Parliament, to show that in every country there are groups working on this practically. Some written document which we could bring forward. A very short and radical one, with NATO being a climate killer and the nuclear weapons in Europe and so on and so on. And for that we need a small group to set it up. But I think, of course, a rally is very outside, some kind of march. It cannot be 30,000 people like in Madrid, I think, not with this short time schedule, but some kind of rally outside the European Parliament, outside the NATO headquarters, with speakers, and then the panel discussions inside, and a webinar with speakers from different parts of the world. I think one of the main things with this meeting would be that we could make up how to go on. This would be a start for cooperation, for further cooperation. And the more we learn to know each other and we get all these networking done, the more we can do afterwards. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Ula. Anyone else for the stack? I can't see your hands, but you can still use the hand raise function and I'll see that. Or you can say the word stack. I see, oh, 2 people.
Skevi.
Skevi?
Skevi, yes.
You go.
I agree with what Ula said now, and I think we need to emphasize in the arm race that is now. It's not only just NATO's behavior, but what we have in front of us now. This arm race that is taking budgets for the welfare of the people and spending only in arm race that and the general situation in the world with the war in Ukraine and the situation. I don't want to go into politics. We have our position, but I understand that we are from many organizations. We have to keep these points, I think, at the front, against NATO, against the arm race that they are implementing. Thank you.
Thank you. I know Marie is next, and then Tina and Leah. And we're generating ideas about what to do in Brussels, how we can make it happen. So there you go.
Okay,
Thanks, Marie.
thank you. Thanks, George. Yeah, me too, writing on the idea that I guess Ula put forward about starting to how shall I say, drumbeat towards this NATO and the other events that we might be organizing, because I know here in Canada we are just receiving the visit of Joe Biden at this time as I speak, and would have liked to see more demonstrations and stuff like that, but he's very well surrounded and there's security everywhere. I mean, it's anyway, but meanwhile, we also are having, like every year in Canada, in Ottawa, there's a thing called CanSec, which is one of the biggest arms fairs in the world, where all of the biggest arms dealers come together to show off their new stuff. And last year we had a rally in front of that, and we were able to delay the opening of this whole big thing because of the demonstrations. And at the same time, we had a very good two-day conference against war and NATO and so forth. So that is going to be happening again in May in Ottawa, and we will certainly be there. And if we had something prepared by our group, like a logo, or some kind of paper or statement or something like that, and I think we should develop a name for ourselves and start working on branding ourselves as being out there as international women's, anti-war, anti-NATO, something or other, but something more catchy than that. But, and then in the activities that we have between now and then, we could start, propagating this idea, and the fact that we're going to be there in Brussels at the same time as the NATO summit. So anyway, that's my idea.
Thanks, Marie.
Thank you.
Tina and then Leah.
I think that we could start planning the panel session and ideas about for the panel, and then just work on if it starts to get more interest from other groups and things like that, and if it's like organic, or if it will get some energy from the other organizations and they are interested, then we can just up a little bit so that it would be a bigger, but we could start with the seminar or panel and start planning that, and then just get bigger. I think that if we are not able to make a big march or demonstrations, we could at least think about some action we could organize with a smaller group. Any case, because I think that the question about the militarization and militarism will be a very hot topic in Europe by summer. They are now starting to talk about how we should send more weapons to Ukraine, and then even here in Finland, they are saying that it doesn't matter if we are going to send our arms to Ukraine and we will be weaker. We just had to send them there. So it will be a critical hot topic for a couple within a couple months also in Finland, and I think that the situation is also pretty much the same everywhere. So the militarization will be the word for this summer, definitely, unfortunately.
Militarization,
Tina.
the word.
Okay, so I know Leah is next on stack. I want to check in with y'all because one of the reasons I'm facilitating is I'm consistently good about keeping us on time. And if we have to be done at the top of the hour, then I will make sure that happens. But if people want to stay for 15 or 20 minutes longer, I'm willing to do that. Not happy about it, but I'm willing to. The other option is, it does feel like you are beginning to talk like a planning committee with a lot of work to do. And therefore, you may need to meet at least in 2 weeks or possibly next week. And that's another way we can end at the top of the hour because there is plenty to be done, some of which can be done online. Who was talking before? Skivvy already described potential workshops or panels and that kind of thing. I think when Emilian spoke, they talked about a possible site or someone who could host. So last thing I'll say before I turn it over to Leah, because as facilitators, you shouldn't take up too much time. Please put your organizations in the chat next to your names. I have your emails. I know your faces and your names, but I won't be able to, without going through the recording and listening and pausing and typing a lot, match you with your organization. If I know you in your organization, then, I know Anne, I know Medea, Nancy, but those are the US folks. Other folks I'm not going to know as well, and I'll need to be able to look you up or think about, here are the people who are part of the planning process, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I need to shut up now, and I'm doing it, turning it over to Leah, and then Liz, and then Ula. And we may only have 10 minutes left after that.
Okay, thank you. We were talking about a possible rally in Brussels, and I think it doesn't need to be a very big one. We can also invite musicians, artists, and make it in that way something that can be shown up. I thank Liz and also Tina for they took up the contacts with labor unions, and then that is a very good part to cooperate with. And one very important issue is the environment, and as we know how much destroying is made by the wars. So that's an issue if we have some kind of conference or seminar. Well, thank you.
Thank you. That's awesome. If we have, folks who are dealing with climate change and together with folks that are in trade unions, that is a powerful, powerful connection. Liz, and then Ula.
Thank you, George. The Peace Wave is something that World Beyond War and International Peace Bureau started last year, and this year it's planned for around the weekend of July 8th to 9th, which is just prior to the NATO meeting. And it's going to have the theme of a peace wave against NATO and all other alliances such as AUKUS. So it's basically a 24-hour combination of people from all different areas going around the world with sharing talks and music and videos and all sorts of things. So some of you were probably involved last year. And so I'll put a little bit more about that in the chat. And that's sort of something that with the theme of NATO this year that will hopefully sort of spread the word.
Thanks so much, Liz. Ula, and then Emilian, and then Anne. And then we'll have to think about
first of all, is it okay for you all if I send around the list with the participants of this meeting with the background information that you then can change if it's wrong.
Yes.
Can I do that? Anybody
Yes.
objects?
Yes.
Okay.
That's fine.
I do that. And then I would ask, would it be possible before the next meeting that Tina and Skevi and Lisa would already now contact the trade unions to see what kind of place we have, and of course Emilienne from Vrede, if you could be in that group, Skevi, Lisa, Tina and Emilienne, to see what premises can we get. Would it also be possible that Anne could check with your Indo-Pacific contacts? Is it possible that anybody could be physically there, or and whom do you suggest as speakers for physical or webinar? And I will be in contact with Mikaela Nohondo Erskog. She is half Swedish, half South African. She has a lot of contacts in Africa, so that could be that part of the global South, the African continent. Well, what did I say? Yeah, this kind of what we are, that is, we are anti-militarism. We want to get the money for other purposes. Who took up that? We could then make a small group that could say, what do we do with the money, but not too long. And that could also be a kind of document that we then take over and get more signatures on from groups all over Europe and the world, of course. But that should also be, I think, the depleted uranium weapons that are again on the agenda, and the nuclear weapons in Europe, nuclear weapons as a whole, and the climate question that the military is a climate killer.
Well, Ula,
so that then
I'm
we
gonna
could
have
go
to-
forward. Thank
We've
you.
got a whole lot. There's a lot to be said and a lot that we need to do. Thanks for hanging in there. But we got 5 people and 14 minutes. So I see Anne, then Nancy, and Skiva. Sorry. I had it right, Skevi. And then Vera, and then Emilian. Emilian was first before you, Anne. So Emilian next, then Anne and Nancy and Skiva. Hey.
I think it's important that we have like, because also to ask at Belgium peace movement to join, it's important that we know a little bit where we are going to, and I think it's important to have like some notes of a budget, because we are really small. So I think if we want to do it, we need to have budget of a European left or the other partners. Just that we have like the guarantee of them that they are willing to help us. Otherwise, I think it will be difficult to make it like really concrete if we are not sure about that.
Very good. You can't just show up in somebody's city and go off. You've got to have some relationships on the ground before you even say we're going to have it. Before you even announce anything, you better make sure people who are there are like, yeah, we're down. It's cool. All right, so we got Anne and then Nancy.
I wonder if we could ask everyone to kind of indicate in the chat maybe, or by email, how many people they think their organizations might be able to bring to Brussels. That's one thing. And then the second one is that for the the Pacific area, in July, late July and August, is a mobilization in Australia to counter the ground exercises that NATO and the UK, Australia, the US are having. So that may eat up the traveling capability of a lot of people out in the Indo-Pacific. But I wanted to let you know about that because it's an important thing. And I think Medea would like to probably talk about this Vienna Peace Conference in June before we leave. Thank you.
I'll make sure we do that, Medea. Nancy and then Skiva. I'm so sorry, I keep getting it wrong. I got it right twice, but not 3 times in a row.
Always, not always.
I'd like to ask who has good contacts with the climate movement and environmental movement in Europe there. I have some, but I'd like to see if there's some others here.
Tord Björk is a climate activist. Perhaps the Swedish colleagues know him.
Yes, I know Tord Björk. I was thinking about him too.
So I think we should call him to get involved in our struggle.
That's
I
fine.
Work,
yes.
I work with him already for 20 years, so he's a good fellow for this work.
So Nancy, you've identified something we can do, and part of our next meeting or second meeting is who do you know within this area, so that we're making those connections, whether that's trade unions, peace groups, faith-based groups. They're different categories, and we can each have a chance to say who we know where. So we have
Thanks. And if I might add, the group that was mentioned to reach out to the trade unions, I think the sooner the better, of course, to see if we couldn't reserve some space before too long.
Okay. Sister, I don't even want to try to say your name again. I'm going to go Kukuma and trust that I will screw up Kukuma.
Okay, Skevi. I wanted to mention that me and Ada, perhaps we will inform and propose to the member organizations of WITF the word council, but the European as well, that we have organizations in Spain, Portugal, Britain, and Turkey, Greece, whether they are, and some other organizations, some other countries, I don't remember now. But we will do our best to inform, and maybe it is possible to participate. Also, the World Federation of Trade Union, the president is from Cyprus, and we have close relations with him. So I can inform him and see how we can cooperate for this initiative. I am interested also to get the minutes of this discussion. Since my English are not that good, I would like to have the minutes when we finish. And whether somebody is able to prepare a budget of how much, what will be the cost, and for which reason, for example, to rent, to make announcements. I don't know. How can we work on that so we know that we need that budget and not the bigger one, let's say. This for the moment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Vera, and then Medea.
Yes, I want to bring up such a problem that thousands and millions of people are working in the military business. And we as peacemakers, we have to talk about this issue as well, that if we want peace, then we are fighting to close the military factories and reduce the number of military army bases. And for this reason, we have to offer some other alternative. Which alternative is this? That these people who work in these businesses, they have to receive another type of work, a peaceful work. And we have to demand from the decision makers that they have to go to this future direction. And I think we have to talk about this topic as well. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Vera. As a Green, it's hard not to say amen and hallelujah to that sentiment, but there's so many threads in the cord that is strangling the planet that we, yes, that's one, but there are a lot more. We got a lot of work to do. Medea?
Yes, I just wanted to make sure that people know I put in the chat the link on the International Peace Bureau website, but it's a gathering that's going to be happening on June 10th and 11th in Vienna, Austria, as a neutral country. It's a international summit for peace in Ukraine, and there are a lot of exciting people who are coming to speak, including members of parliament from different European countries. We have people from the Global South coming. Some people from the US are already signed up, including Dennis Kucinich, who will be a speaker. And we have greetings from heads of states of various countries. Anyway, it's going to be a great gathering. You can check it out on the link that I sent. And I do see that in the invitation, WILF International is still to be confirmed. So I wonder if there's anyone on the call that can make that happen. But it's International Peace Bureau, World Social Forum, Transform Europe, Europe for Peace, International Fellowship of Reconciliation, and then a number of local groups that are the organizers in Vienna. Oh, and one other thing is that it is hosted by the Trade Union Association. That is the place that it will take place. So it's great to have the trade union support.
That's fantastic. Sounds great, Medea. And I will, in the next few days, follow up with International WILF to see if we can move them along. Excellent. And
So-
Nancy will tag me. Go ahead, Nancy.
If I might just add, it looks like there are a number of events. So for example, there's the this Peace Summit in Vienna. There's the Peace Wave. And so it would build to whatever we put together for No to NATO in Brussels. So, and there's the weapons fair, the fair in Canada. So there's quite a lot that would build up to No to NATO in Brussels.
Thanks a lot, Nancy. So y'all, we're got 4 minutes and we could theoretically be done. But here's one of the reasons. Ula's got her thumb up. We put it down, Ula. We like the thumbs up, but y'all are about to vote. So the vote is, do we meet next week? And if you say yes, that's a thumbs up. Or 2 weeks, and then you'll get a thumbs up for that option. So you got two options, next week or 2 weeks.
Could I make a
Go ahead
suggestion?
first, Ula.
Could I make a suggestion that if we could get Skevi and Tina and Emmeline and who was
Lisa.
And Lisa to check with the trade unions, and they might need 2 weeks time or what?
Yes, I think so.
Then we would know better what the premises are in Brussels.
You're right. You're right.
And we could work on Anne could work on the speakers from Indo-Pacific. I could work on the speakers from Global South, either physically or webinar. And so
nobody's saying that's a bad idea. That's a totally thumbs up idea, Ula. So next week to get some things lined up, the week after next to meet. Maria, you are fabulous looking. That smile is so nice. All right. So
2 weeks is Easter. Does that make a difference?
I think 2 weeks would be good. We could prepare a little bit more.
Is there an issue for people if it's on Good Friday? Is that going to be a problem? It's the Friday before Easter. So, all right then.
For me, it would be an issue.
It would
have to be a
Could it be a Thursday? Could it be on Thursday?
Yes. Anybody got a problem with the day before? I don't know the date off the top of my head. I'm not that good right now. But Thursday before, same time?
So it's this 6th of April. 6.
April 6th?
April 6th, yes.
And would it be at the same time as this call?
Yes,
Okay.
that's fine. That's fine.
Very good.
Do the times work out for everybody? Pretty much? Yeah, okay.
It doesn't work out for Tina. Tina, what's going on?
Yes, because I will be actually in Vilnius for the for that time. We will
So you're
travel
gonna be in a
there
meeting?
with my son, and I think that I won't be able to participate that during
How
that
about
day.
the 5th,
But
Tina,
I can-
Wednesday?
Yes, but we will be traveling.
Okay.
Okay.
But
Okay.
no problem. I will just check the information I can get, and I will send it to Ulla.
And that won't be the last time this group meets.
Yeah, or
Yes.
Tina, I think it would be good if you would send it to Skevi and Lisa and Emilian.
Yes,
I don't think
as
if
I
I
said,
have emails.
Okay, I can forward it. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I will be.
As I said before, on Monday, I will be in the European Parliament. So I can arrange with the MPs, the Cypriot MEPs, to go inform GUE, the left group, and have, if anybody else can also mention our suggestion, it will be very helpful. I mean, by the end of the week, maybe I have some informations. But
Okay.
if we will have this group, we can exchange informations the soonest.
I
of
will
what we
send you all a copy of the recording and the chat. I know
Okay.
Ula's got something to say. I hear another voice besides hers, but Ula's going to be the closing person unless somebody waves their hands on the camera and let me know. Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to check because I have a list with women contacts, at least 100 or more all around the world. Can I already now tell them that we are planning something and ask them if they support it? Or shall we wait till after the 6th? 5th, 6th?
6th.
Shall we
Wonderful.
wait or can I already let the information go?
Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Well, what if
Okay.
the information is we are putting something together, the details have not been set, but we want you to back us?
Yes, and can I mention all the women that were here tonight?
Absolutely.
Can I mention you by name?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I have a few others who will be mentioned by name who said that they would have been here, but they couldn't tonight. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, y'all.
And I think it might be good to add the calendar of events that seem to be coming up now. I could put that list together for you.
Yeah,
That
please
would be
do.
great.
Yeah.
And a lot of things maybe
Okay.
in the chat as well. All right, many blessings. See you in 2 weeks on a Thursday.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for coming to this call.
Thank you.
Take
Bye.
care. Stay strong.
See everyone. Yay.
Ciao, ciao.